何？
What's going on, everybody? Sean Ross here, and welcome back, guys, to another review where I will be talking about and discussing Tokyo Ghoul manga chapter 176 entitled Loss. And we got the big announcement, guys. Tokyo Ghoul is coming to an end. We are 3 chapters away till the conclusion of this series and quite possibly Kaneki's story. That is a very bittersweet thing to realize, and I don't really think I have the words to really articulate the true feelings I am feeling right now with realizing that in about 3 weeks, this series that I've been reading for over 3 years right now, and many of you possibly even longer, will be coming to an end, and we will eventually wake up on a Monday morning to where there will be no new Tokyo Ghoul chapter to wake up to and to read. That is a strange feeling to slowly realize, but I know many people have very mixed feelings about this, some more upset than others, and I know many people are clamoring for a part 3, but that just really all depends if Ishida is planning on doing a part 3, and we don't know that. The only people that know that are Ishida and most likely his editors. I'm not sure if he's just thinking about taking a break, taking a vacation after ending Tokyo Ghoul. We really don't know, and I am very curious if Ishida is able to give us a satisfying conclusion to this series in the remaining 3 chapters. But all of this is speculation at this point, so the only thing I can really do is something that I have been doing already with Tokyo Ghoul on my channel, and is take every chapter and just talk about it. Don't think about what's to come, just go on a chapter basis, and we're just going to dive into chapter 176. But the crazy thing to realize for me, which is honestly crazy, guys, is that the whole reason I started this channel was to talk about Tokyo Ghoul, and I put up my first live reaction to chapter 106 of Tokyo Ghoul, and now, 70 chapters later, I'm talking about chapter 176. This is honestly crazy. It has been such an awesome journey talking about this series with you guys, and getting to connect with all the other people that love this series. So to everyone that joined the channel to talk about Tokyo Ghoul, I just want to thank you guys. I love getting to talk with you guys. It has been an absolute amazing experience just getting to talk back and forth, speculate, and read this chapter week after week after week with you guys. It has been awesome. So with all that being said, guys, let's dive into the content that we got for chapter 176. And even before this chapter began, we got to see Kaneki on the cover of Weekly Young Jump, and then we also got a color page accompanying this chapter, giving us that big announcement that Tokyo Ghoul was entering its final 3 chapters. But I honestly love this color page because I love getting to see all of these characters that have grown over the course of this series, but I'm able to look upon every single one of these characters, and it reminds me and brings me back to particular moments within the series involving those characters. I look at Arima and Kaneki and think about the journey and the growth of their relationship throughout Tokyo Ghoul. I see all of the members from Inteku, the Ghouls, Tsukiyama, Karen von Rosenwald in the background, Naki, Misa in the white suits, Juzo and his squad, the QS squad, CCG, the clowns, Furuta. I love getting to look upon this color page because not only is it a sign of finality, but it reminds me of the epic journey that I have been on with all these characters. And it honestly just makes me happy thinking back to all the tragic moments in a weird way, but also thinking about the happy moments in between all of the tragic moments throughout the story of Tokyo Ghoul. So I honestly love this color page, but now we actually dive into the actual content of this chapter. And this chapter mainly focused on the climax for the series, to where we focused in on Kaneki and Furuta, but this was mainly a send-off for Furuta's character, our main antagonist of this series, to where we get to see the clown, King Troll himself, take a bow for his final performance, and he just walks off the stage. We see Furuta talking with Kaneki, and he's basically telling him everything that we have tried to do in this world will amount to nothing. It will be for naught. So he's telling Kaneki, your wife, your child, you yourself, your friends, your enemies, we're all going to die, and at that point, after that, it's all going to amount to nothing. Furuta views the world like it's a toy chest, and that fits pretty well in line with his character and his mindset, because when you look at that panel of little Furuta sitting in the lap of Tsunuyoshi, that is the moment when he found out he was not long for this world. He was going to live a short life, so he decided, you know what, I'm gonna have fun. I'm going to destroy everything. So he just started viewing everyone as his toys, as his playthings, and he would play with them and manipulate their lives so that way he could have fun while on this earth. And once he passed on and playtime was over, he would close the toy chest and that would be it. But you know Furuta, in some strange way, most likely viewed Kaneki as his prized possession or like his favorite toy, to where he just loved manipulating the course of Kaneki's life and making his life filled with tragedy, and it most likely made Furuta very, very happy because he was the one that dropped the steel beams on Kaneki and Rize all the way back in chapter 1. He's the one that propelled Kaneki on the journey that we have followed in Tokyo Ghoul. And Furuta even brings up the fact that if Kaneki never met Rize way back when, he would have been spared the burden of playing this tedious role. And Furuta is saying this trying to egg Kaneki on, trying to get something out of him, because Furuta knows that he is slowly dying right now and wants to get one final jab in on Kaneki before his time has come. But here's the thing. Kaneki has experienced massive character development thanks of going through Dragon, talking with Rize, and realizing that the journey that he has been on, sure, it was filled with tragedy and there were some very sad and unpleasant moments, but out of that tragedy, he gained great things in his life. Before Kaneki met Rize, he was just another average guy that liked to read and was most likely going to lead a very bland and average life. It definitely would have been a lot different than the life that he is currently leading right now in the series, to where he would definitely not be married to Toka and expecting his first child. But that moment of meeting with Rize is a cornerstone within his life that has come to define all the events that have transpired in his life after that. And sure, he's been filled with tragedy over the course of his journey. Getting tortured by Jason is one of the big ones, getting almost killed by Arima and losing Inteku, and then joining the CCG, losing his memories. There's a lot of tragedy built within Kaneki's life after meeting with Rize. But it's not just filled with tragedy, and now Kaneki knows this, because after meeting with Rize, he found his place in the world with the humans and the ghouls. He has friends, he has allies, he has teachers, he has people that he loves, and even though he's made mistakes and errors along the way, he wouldn't really view these circumstances as if they've come to naught. They did not amount to anything. So he simply replies to Furuta, if you told me in the moment when I was about to go with Rize, everything that was about to transpire after that, I would still go and meet with Rize and do it all again. I love getting to hear that from Kaneki, because he simply says to me, meeting with Rize, all of it was necessary. I love getting to see this from Kaneki, to where he has finally come to the realization that that moment did not just mean tragedy, tragedy, tragedy befell him after that moment. Because if he did not go through with that, he would never have met Toka, Nishiki, Tsukiyama, Banjo, and actually eventually join the CCG. His journey was meant to go this way, and also, if he did not meet Rize that day, he would not have married Toka and be having his first child with her. So I love this revelation that Kaneki is finally coming to, and I love this piece of dialogue that follows right after that, where he says, this world isn't wrong. It just is. That right there is a powerful statement, because the world isn't just filled with negativity and tragedy left and right. It comes with its good and its bad, but it's depending on how you view those circumstances and how you push forward. You can view everything negatively and then just say, oh, woe is me, everything's terrible, nothing's good in my life. But if you push forward beyond the tragedy and keep moving forward, you will find the journey that life is putting you on, and that's what Kaneki has found, to where he has found the happiness within the tragedy. He now has people within his life that he would never have dreamed of having if he had never met with Rize. And I love having that realization coming to Kaneki within this moment. But as Kaneki finishes up by saying, even if eventually everything will come to naught, he is still going to continue and strive forward like he did today. And Furuta is just sitting there staring back at Kaneki, and he's like, you're a person I could just never understand. And he begins to laugh to himself. And he's realizing, I'm about to die in this pitiful place. Man, fuck this world. And he continues to laugh and laugh. but he is not smiling while he is laughing. There was a small panel right there to where you can see that he is frowning, and this is sad laughter coming from Furuta because he is realizing everything he did has come to naught, and Kaneki is still striving forward, and everything he has amounted to actually has had meaning. And this is kind of depressing Furuta a bit, to where we actually have real feelings and emotion begin to seep through the cracks of the troll persona that Furuta has built up over the course of this series. And he just looks back at Kaneki and he says, "Associate Special Class. If I told you I just wanted to live a normal life, you'd laugh, wouldn't you?" This right here is an emotional panel coming from our main antagonist of this series, because this right here is real emotion and feeling coming from Furuta. He is not joking around. This is genuine. And the way I kind of look at this is we've come to realize that Furuta has wanted a normal life with the recent revelations, that he wanted to build a family with Rize and have kids. And the strange thing is, he's wanted this, but based on life circumstances and the hand that he was dealt, he kind of believed that he could not have this life and started to mess around with other people. But now here is Furuta looking at Kaneki, to where this man right in front of him has what he wants. Kaneki is married to Toka and is expecting a child. He is about to start a family. So Furuta is looking at Kaneki and saying, "You got what I wanted, and here I am in this dirty mess, about to die in the underground, my life amounting to nothing." That right there is very powerful, especially with that piece of dialogue that Furuta is saying to Kaneki, but it's the reply from Kaneki that makes it that much better, to where it's just a simple reply, one-word answer, no. Kaneki can sympathize with that statement because he knows damn well what it feels like wanting to live a normal life, but being unable to do so. But what makes this moment that much more powerful for me is that Kaneki within this moment is seeing the real Furuta for the first time. But what makes it very bittersweet, it's as Furuta is on his way out, as Furuta is dying. And that right there is just beautifully crafted by Ishida. But then, as Kaneki leaves, about to search for the nucleus of the oviduct, he leaves Furuta by himself, and Furuta is just laughing all alone down in the underground, and he ends up entering within his mind this dream sequence, very similar to when Kaneki was talking with Rize in Dragon, and Furuta sees before him his younger self playing with a younger Rize. And this is most likely a memory from his past, but I find it very sad, but also very heartwarming to think about that within his final moments, he is thinking about his time with Rize. Rize is within his final thoughts. But it's the conversation between the younger selves I find rather interesting, because Furuta ends up telling Rize, "Even when we're grandpa and grandma, I want things to stay like this." Basically, Furuta is saying, grow old with me, let's start a family, let's live long lives. But in typical Rize fashion, she just simply replies, "I don't want to become a grandma, Nimura." But he's like, "Wait, no, I want to be with you. It's like, this would be fun. I just know it." And Furuta's thinking back at this is like, I could have had this. This would have been so nice to just grow old with Rize. I would have loved anything more than just to live a normal life. And you see this expression over him where he's just like, I just know it will. And then he just looks up to the sky in his final moments. And then we just see a blacked out double page spread with this white dash going through the page. And our main antagonist of this series, Furuta, the troll himself, met his end in this chapter. Furuta is no more. This was a beautiful send-off for Furuta's character, and it's crazy to think about with Furuta's character, because I even went back to part 1 of Tokyo Ghoul, back to chapter 117, that cameo we had with Furuta's character. Who would have thought that that little cameo would have led into this type of character, into the main antagonist of the series, to find out that this man caused so much heinous stuff throughout the series, but yet he gets a send-off like this that kind of makes you feel for the man. Only Ishida could make you feel for Furuta in this moment, and it was handled beautifully. So then from Furuta send-off, we end up making our way into the final section of this chapter where we see Kaneki climbing up the side of the oviduct, and he ends up coming back into radio contact with Kimi, where Kimi lets Kaneki know once you find the nucleus, you have to destroy it. That way the toxins can cease being produced. So Kaneki understands his mission, and then they end up telling him, Kaneki, please make sure you come back to us, which is a very ominous thing to hear near the ending of this series, because this could be a death flag right here, to where this is indicating maybe Kaneki might not make it out in the end. So here's to hoping that we have a good ending for Kaneki and he makes it out of this situation alive. But all of this setup right now that we are having with the nucleus to destroy the nucleus, and the fact that we have not seen Rize in quite some time, we can deduce and put 2 and 2 together that most likely Rize is the source of this oviduct. She is most likely the nucleus, the one producing the toxins, turning everyone into ghouls. And I find this very interesting, to where this is kind of coming full circle, a good parallel within Tokyo Ghoul, to where in the beginning we started with Kaneki and Rize, and for the ending we will end with Kaneki and Rize, because we make our way to that final double spread page to where we just see massive amounts of Kagane, this mouth Kagane coming towards Kaneki. He has the blades out, and we just see this white dot in the distance, which I think is Rize. So we are setting up right now for a Kaneki to meet Rize next chapter. I'm going to find this very interesting. And what is the conversation that is going to take place? And what is the mindset of this Rize going to be? Because odds are this isn't the original Rize. It might most likely a clone of Rize. Will it recognize Kaneki? Will it be able to speak at all? I have a lot of questions right now about this Rize that Kaneki is about to meet, but that is the way we end off this chapter. A very nice double spread page, which is very ominous. Kaneki is going to have to fight his way through towards the nucleus, but we only have 3 chapters left until the ending of the series, and I am just very curious on how Ishida is going to conclude this and hopefully give us a satisfying ending. So with that, guys, that is my review on chapter 176 of Tokyo Ghoul Re. I only have a few more of these until we're done with this series, and that is going to feel very bittersweet. But I definitely want to hear your guys' thoughts on this chapter, but also your thoughts on the ending of the series as a whole, your positives, your negatives, your honest feelings. Leave those down in the comments below. But if you guys want to talk about the ending of the series just a little bit more outside of YouTube, feel free to follow me on Twitter. A link to my Twitter account can be found in the description down below. But that's going to do it from here, guys. So until next week, when we have chapter 177 of Tokyo Ghoul Re, where we're going to have 2 chapters left until the ending of this series, I'll talk to you guys next time.